My name is Nice, and I have always been inspired by the quiet dedication of those who care for others in small, everyday ways. I carefully preparing every meal for our family with love and patience. The kitchen was warm with the soft glow of the morning sun filtering through the window, and the air smelled faintly of herbs and spices. My mother moved quietly among the countertops, her hands skilled and deliberate as she chopped vegetables, stirred sauces, and arranged ingredients with the precision of someone who cared deeply about every detail, even the smallest tasks: wiping the counter, adjusting the flame on the stove, tasting a pinch of salt were done with her full attention. Mom, can I help? I asked one morning, leaning against the doorway. She looked up and smiled gently, wiping her hands on a towel. Of course, Michael. You can start by washing these vegetables. I joined her at the sink, and as I scrubbed the carrots and peppers, I watched her move gracefully around the kitchen. There was a rhythm to her actions, a flow that seemed almost musical: the way she stirred the soup, flipped the pancakes, and sprinkled herbs over the steaming rice. Every gesture showed care, patience, and an unspoken love that filled the room more than the aroma of the food itself. Cooking is not just about feeding the stomach, she said as she chopped onions. It's about feeding the heart, too. I nodded, listening carefully. I had seen her do this every day, yet each time it felt new. Each meal was a work of love, each dish a reflection of her thoughtfulness. She tasted, adjusted, and arranged, always making sure that what we ate would nourish not only our bodies, but also our spirits. The morning passed in a quiet symphony of sounds: the chopping of vegetables, the bubbling of water, the sizzling of food on the stove, and the occasional hum of my mother's favorite song. I helped as best as I could, but mostly I watched, learning more than just recipes. I learned patience, attention to detail, and the art of caring through actions rather than words. When it was time to set the table, my mother carefully placed each plate, each bowl, and each utensil, making sure everything was in order. She moved like she was preparing not just a meal, but a small celebration for the family. And when we finally sat down to eat, the room was filled with warmth, not only from the food, but from the love she had put into every step. Mom, this tastes amazing, I said, reaching for a spoonful of her soup. She laughed softly, shaking her head. Thank you, Michael. But it's not just about taste. It's about making sure you and your father feel cared for. That's what matters most. I realized then that cooking, for my mother, was never just a task. It was her way of showing love, of nurturing us without needing to say it out loud. Every meal carried a story of effort, patience, and the countless little details she thought about that we often took for granted. The steam rising from the dishes seemed to carry a message of care that words could not capture. Afternoons in the kitchen were different but just as meaningful. Sometimes she baked bread or cakes, filling the house with the scent of warmth and sweetness. Sometimes she prepared lunch for a neighbor in need or packed snacks for school trips. Her hands never paused, always moving with purpose and intention, yet never appearing hurried or impatient. I began to understand that this constant care was a form of quiet strength, the kind that forms the backbone of a family. As evening approached, the kitchen took on a softer glow from the fading sunlight. My mother cleaned, organized, and prepared for the next day, humming a song that I had heard countless times. I watched her pause occasionally to taste a sauce or check the oven, and I felt a deep sense of gratitude for her presence and the countless meals she had made, each one a small act of devotion. When dinner was ready, the family gathered once again. We ate, laughed, and shared stories from our day, and I noticed how my mother's eyes shone not from the work she had done, but from the joy of seeing us enjoy what she had created. Every meal was a quiet reminder of her care, a reflection of the love that kept our family together.